Setting: Aegis Network's VIP meeting room. Tempered glass offering panoramic city views. A stifling atmosphere. Time: 2 p.m. Dozens of LED screens on the walls displayed a heat map of the Aegis Network's security. 17 Fortune 500 companies and 1 defense contractor, Donovan Aerospace, were illuminated in green. The $510 million system was operating flawlessly. Marin Lawson sat at the corner of the desk, her fingers tapping rapidly on her ThinkPad keyboard. 3 command line terminals scrolled up continuously. Preston stood at the head of the table, arms crossed, his Rolex watch gleaming under the LED lights. Preston, cold voice, interrupting the typing. Your contract is canceled. Immediately. Marin stopped typing. She didn't look up immediately, but pressed enter to complete a final verification sequence. The entire system displayed safe. Only then did she look up. Marin, what did you say, Preston? Preston. I heard you clearly, Ms. Lawson. We are terminating your independent consulting contract, effective immediately. You have 15 minutes to pack your things and leave the building. Marin glanced across the meeting table. Tom, finance, was staring intently at his paper coffee cup. Alina, legal, pretended to be preoccupied with something important in her blank notebook. Only Vanessa, CTO, was fidgeting, avoiding Marin's gaze. Marin wasn't angry. She smiled slightly, a half-smile, full of understanding. Marin, all right. Preston blinked slightly. He had braced himself for a storm, tears, or pleas. But Marin calmly closed her laptop, unplugged the braided, armor-reinforced Ethernet cable, and packed the portable SSDs into a sterile bag. Preston, swallowing hard, trying to regain the upper hand. Is that all? No complaint? No argument? You should know Aegis doesn't need overpriced consultants who think they're irreplaceable. My internal IT team is more than capable of running this network. Marin, putting on her backpack, speaking softly. I believe they can. Good luck, Preston. Marin's calmness made Preston uneasy. A politician's survival instinct told him something was wrong, but his ego was too big to think straight. Preston, the security will escort you out. Marin, stopping at the meeting room door. No need, but before you go, I have a question, Preston. Who's going to explain this to Chairman Arthur when the entire system's security protocol disappears in 4 minutes? The atmosphere in this meeting room was drained of oxygen. Preston's face turned from rosy to ashen. Preston, what the hell are you talking about? Marin, looking at her watch. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. The system I built has a special self-defense mechanism. You could call it the dead man's switch. My high-level authentication needs to ping the central server every 72 hours. If authentication fails within that time, the system architecture will assume the chief architect has been kidnapped or the account compromised. It will trigger an emergency isolation process, freezing this entire $510 million network to protect the data. Preston, shouting, You bluff! You're blackmailing! Marin. There are 3 minutes and 10 seconds left, but as you said, your team can easily handle it. Video or audio channel section. Background music lowers, transitioning to Marin's personal narrative. Hello everyone, I'm Marin Lawson. Before that day in the Aegis meeting room, the cybersecurity world knew me as someone who built impenetrable fortresses. I wasn't born into luxury. My father was a mechanic in Detroit, and my mother ran a small diner on the East Side. They taught me 2 things: how to fix things with minimal tools, and how to respect people regardless of their title. My father always said, the one who looks down on the dishwasher is the first to fall when something goes wrong, because they never learn to respect the system that keeps everything running. I carried that mindset from community college, through Michigan State, to Carnegie Mellon, and into the workforce with 15 years of experience. Preston hated me from day one. He wanted to give this project to his brother-in-law's company. These are the same people who created all those security vulnerabilities before. When the board of directors dismissed his opinion to hire me, I became a thorn in his side. He terminated my contract to save money and brought in his own people. He's about to learn the most expensive lesson of his life. Preston lunches at the table, slamming his hand down in front of Tom. Tom, where are the technical documents? Find them for me immediately. Tom nervously flips through the thick stack of printed documents, his fingers trembling as he scans the pages. Tom, his voice falters. She's right. Section 47, Subsection C, Authentication Protocol and Risk Prevention. The system requires continuous authentication from the chief architect's login credentials every 72 hours. If it fails, it automatically locks everything to prevent unauthorized access. Preston turning to Marin, eyes wide. Then log in again. Remove that command. Marin raising both hands. By what means? You just terminated my contract, and the system automatically disabled my power token on the HR server. If I try to log in using the external gateway right now, the AI will perform a wide area scan, identify it as a hostile attack, and speed up the lockout from 3 minutes to 10 seconds. Want to try? Vanessa, in a real panic. Marin, please, is there any way to stop this? Marin, yes, Vanessa. It requires someone with root privileges to manually enter the override sequence before the timer reaches 0. Then it takes about 90 minutes to reconfigure the new credentials. Vanessa, I'll pay you double, triple, any price you want. Preston, roaring. No, I won't accept this kind of terrorism. Marin, calmly raising an eyebrow. Terrorism? I'm standing here explaining this very politely from a technical standpoint. You fired the system maintainer without even understanding how the system works. 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Preston grabbed the desk phone and frantically dialed an extension. Preston Austin! Bring the entire security team to meeting room A immediately. Bring the computers. Quickly! The meeting room door burst open. Austin and 2 IT engineers, including Kelly, rushed in, breathless and panicked. Austin, boss, what's wrong? Preston, the security network system will lock in 45 seconds. Go to the root folder, find the authentication protocol, and enter the override code immediately. Austin opens laptop, sweating profusely. Which override code? It's not in the operating manual. Marin, interrupting. Section 47, Subsection C, Appendix 12. Kelly, typing rapidly. I don't have Appendix 12. The documents the boss gave us only go up to Appendix 9. Marin looked at Preston, shaking her head in disappointment. Marin, let me guess. You refused to buy my extended technical documentation package, didn't you? The emergency procedure supplement package. Preston, shouting. That PDF file cost $15,000. That's ripoff. Marin, that's $15,000 for 200 pages of detailed specifications, override codes, emergency procedures, and disaster recovery instructions. 30 seconds left. Vanessa, Marin, please, read the override code. Marin. The override code is a 32-character string, randomly composed of letters, numbers, and special characters. I can memorize it, but Austin has to type it 100% correctly the first time. Just one wrong character, and the system will consider it a brute force attack and permanently lock it out. Austin placed his fingers on the keyboard, his hands trembling like someone with a fever. Austin, I'm ready. Read it. Marin Q7 and Delta, 99K hash sin omega. Austin, eyes wide. Wait, what alt code on a Windows keyboard is used to enter the Greek characters Delta and Omega? Kelly, what is the Unicode alt code for Delta? Hurry up. Tom, looking at the system screen. 15 seconds. 10, 9. Preston, panicked, face flushed red as if about to have a stroke. $5 million. I'll pay you $5 million right now. Stop it. Marin, it can't be stopped anymore. The command has been executed, but for $5 million, I'll fix it after it crashes. Tom, 3, 2, 1, beep, beep, beep. The entire computer system in the meeting room blared a simultaneous alarm. Austin's screen went dark, then displayed bright red text. Critical alert. Security protocol Alpha 7 activated. Authentication failure. Initiating protective lockdown. All systems securing. Access denied. Kelly's phone vibrated violently. Kelly, voice trembling. Warning from the monitoring center. Donovan Aerospace's connection lost. Hartwell Financial's system crashed. All 18 major customer connection ports have been completely disconnected. Immediately, the phones on the meeting table rang. Elena, Tom, and Vanessa's phones all rang loudly. Through the glass partition of the meeting room, Marin could see the entire Aegis office outside in chaos. Employees jumped to their feet, staring nervously at the black screens. Preston slowly turned to look at Marin. This time, his arrogance had completely vanished. replaced by the utter fear of someone who understood their career was over. Preston, whispering, fix it, please. Marin pulled up a leather chair, sat down leisurely, and crossed his legs. Marin, now, let's discuss the terms of my new contract. Scenery, VIP meeting room. The phone rang incessantly, like the funeral music of the corporation. Time, 2:15 p.m. Alina looked at the phone screen, swallowing hard. Alina Donovan Aerospace Corporation is calling. They're asking why the military contractor's security shield is completely black. Preston, speaking breathlessly, tell them it's a temporary technical issue. Marin, they're a defense contractor, Preston. They don't accept the concept of temporary. Their contract requires a 99.99% uptime. We're breaching the contract and facing a $40 million risk penalty in the first hour. Vanessa pushed her phone away, turning to Marin. Vanessa, Marin, what are your conditions? Marin opened her laptop, turning the screen towards everyone. A document had been prepared 3 months in advance. The time Preston began showing signs of looking for a replacement for her. Marin, 1. The new contract isn't consulting. I want the CISO, Chief Information Security Officer position with a seat on the board of directors. 2. Full authority over security infrastructure and personnel, including Austin's IT department. 3. A $20 million annual security operating budget. Tom, $20 million? You're crazy. Marin, you spent $510 million building this network, but are stingy with maintenance? $20 million is less than 4% of the system's value. Too cheap to keep Aegis from going bankrupt. 4. Absolute access to all board meetings and financial reports. I can't protect a body if I don't know what it's eating. Preston, you're trying to take over the company. Suddenly, Vanessa's personal phone rang. The name displayed on the screen caused everyone to freeze. Arthur Whitmore. Vanessa put the phone on speakerphone with trembling hands. The old chairman's voice rang out, low and deep, not shouting, but full of pressure. Arthur on the phone. Can someone explain to me why 18 strategic partners are calling my personal phone asking why their systems are down? And why the security network at my residence is also on red alert? Preston immediately interrupted. Preston, Mr. Chairman, this is due to the decision to cut the consulting budget. I wasn't fully informed about the dependent technical risks. Arthur, on the phone. Shut up, Preston. We hired Ms. Lawson at a huge price because she's a leading expert in quantum-resistant security architecture. What was going through your head that made her position seem like an optional option? Where's your IT team? Why haven't they restored it yet? Preston bit his lip, breathless. Arthur, over the phone. Bring Marin to the phone. Marin pulled the phone toward herself. Marin. Good afternoon, Mr. Whitmore. Arthur, over the phone. Hello, Ms. Lawson. I apologize for my subordinate's incompetence in disturbing you. I suppose you have a solution. What do you need? Marin. I've sent the new contract terms to your email. I need ultimate authority to ensure this doesn't happen again. Arthur, over the phone. Silence for 3 seconds. I received the email. The terms are very reasonable. Alina, restore Marin's credentials immediately. I'm sending my personal authorization code to Vanessa's machine. Use it if anyone gets in her way. Marin, how long will it take for the system to be back online? Marin, 90 minutes since I touched the server. Arthur. Over the phone. Good. I want a full report before the end of the day. And Preston, see me at my office at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Have your resume ready. Beep, beep, beep. Scenery, the central server room in the deep basement of Aegis. The air was icy cold, the fans of hundreds of hard drives whirring. Green and red LEDs flashed continuously like a technological labyrinth. Marin scanned her fingerprints and retina and entered President Arthur's code to open the 20-centimeter thick steel door. Austin and Kelly followed behind, clutching their laptops, a mixture of fear and admiration. Marin sat in front of the main control room. Her fingers flew across the keyboard at breakneck speed. The screen displayed, Identity verified Lawson M. Primary architect. Kelly, staring intently. How did the system know no attack was taking place while it was locked? Marin, it's running the third-layer AI scan process. It takes about 40 minutes. It will check every connection port, every byte of data change, to ensure no one takes advantage of the fortress closure to inject malware. Look, Austin, Kelly, this is a 3-layer architecture, moat, wall, and keep. Marin explained as she worked, turning the server room into a hands-on training classroom. She didn't hide her skills. She wanted them to understand so they could operate it themselves later. Austin, looking at the diagram. That's truly excellent. Ms. Lawson, I'm so sorry about what happened earlier. Marin, it's not your fault, Austin. You're a good system administrator. But Preston made you work as a security architect without providing the tools and documentation. Starting tomorrow, you and Kelly will be the first to receive intensive training. A beep sounded from the phone. An email from Chairman Arthur. The contract has been electronically signed. Welcome to the executive board. After 80 minutes, Marin typed the final command. Restore all connections. On the large screen, the 18 red dots representing the major client corporations simultaneously turned green. The state-of-the-art defense system had been revived. Setting, Aegis Networks hallway. Time, 9:45 a.m. the next day. Marin walked in, impeccably dressed as a Chief Information Security Officer, CISO. Employees passing by bowed respectfully, a mixture of awe and apprehension. She entered the executive meeting room. The meeting between Chairman Arthur and Preston had just ended. Preston emerged, his shoulders slumped, the file in his hand nearly falling. He wasn't fired, but transferred to a special project team, stripped of authority and subordinates. A humiliating punishment even worse than dismissal for a power-hungry individual. Preston looked at Marin, his lips moving but unable to speak. Marin paused, looking at him with a calm gaze. Marin, good luck in your new role, Preston. I hope we can still work well together in other areas. Preston was slightly taken aback by her lack of hostility. He nodded slightly and hurried to the elevator. Vanessa walked over to Marin, watching Preston's retreating figure. Vanessa, you're too generous with him. If it were me, I'd kick him out of the corporation immediately. Marin, smiling, looking out the large window at the morning sunlight. My father once taught me, holding on to hatred is like drinking poison yourself and expecting someone else to die. Preston made a mistake, and he has to face the consequences. My job isn't to drag him through the mud, but to keep this ceiling from collapsing on all of us. Marin turned and walked straight into her new office, where Austin and Kelly were waiting with stacks of recruitment files. A true era of Aegis security began here.